Welcome back to Hidden Business Risk. I'm Dan Butler. Today, our headline sounds almost cinematic. A beautiful, polished sales demo that, by showing the right data at the wrong time, exposed the client's competitor list, triggered a privacy complaint, and cost the company a renewal. That loss looked small on paper at first, just a refund and a patch, but it spiraled into customer distrust and a stalled pipeline. We're pulling that thread today. What went wrong, how it compounds over time, and what you can lock down this week.
I love that micro case as a framing device. It's the kind of thing that sounds minor until you map the downstream obligations, notifications, contractual remedies, and the little evidence trail a demo leaves behind. So listeners, when Dan says it cost a renewal, that's often just the tip of the iceberg.
And from the ops side, I see the same pattern every week. Sales needs the demo to feel real. Engineering spins up a copy of prod to save time. And before you know it, there are service accounts, API keys, and attachments floating in a VM that's been handed to a contractor. It's convenient, but it's fragile and risky.
Quick setup. Let's define the failure modes plainly so folks can spot them in their orgs. First, personal data, or PII, slipping into demos. Second, embedded credentials, API keys, or attachments that reveal more than a screen share should. Third, demo artifacts that end up as evidence in disputes, screenshots, recordings, and logs. And fourth, contractual misuse, where a demo uses data beyond permitted purposes under a client agreement.
Exactly. Those are the right buckets. From a legal lens, the instincts I want listeners to adopt are simple. Always check permitted data uses in contracts. Treat demo environments as potential subprocessors when third parties are involved, and assume every demo could become discoverable in a dispute. That changes how you log, preserve, and escalate.
Let's shift to impact, because lawyers and ops do a great job of making risks clear, but the business case is what gets things budgeted. Jessica, Eddie, help me turn those risks into dollars and lost deals. For example, churn and refunds, time spent on remediation, and deal slippage when sales loses trust. I'll kick us off with a quick triage framework. Protect the demo flows that are high frequency, high sensitivity, and high conversion first. High frequency times high sensitivity times high conversion. If that product of those three is big, that demo gets priority.
From a legal cost perspective, you can quantify exposure in three buckets: direct financial remedies, refunds, indemnities, regulatory obligations, breach notifications, fines in certain jurisdictions, and litigation costs if the data becomes evidence. Even if a single case has a small direct cost, the reputational damage and the negotiation leverage you lose with a major client magnify that number.
And on the ops ledger, multiply hours to scrub. Time engineers spend redoing demos, emergency access lockdowns, and the productivity hit when you have to freeze systems to preserve evidence. In one client I worked with, an exposed demo led to a 40-hour emergency patch effort and a week of blocked integrations while legal decided next steps. That's real money and momentum lost.
So here's the immediate triage I recommend teams run today. 1. Inventory your demo flows and who touches them. 2. Tag each flow by that frequency, sensitivity, conversion score. And 3. Pick the top 2 flows to place under a temporary protection protocol. That protocol can be lightweight, masking, ephemeral accounts, conservative scripts for sales, but it stops the bleeding while you build a long-term fix.
Let me add the legal red flags you should put on that inventory. Does the dataset include PII or confidential third-party lists? Does the customer contract limit data uses for demos or testing? And are there subcontractors or vendors who will see the demo? If the answer to any of those is yes, escalate to counsel before doing any destructive changes to production data. Preservation obligations can require you to pause and consult.
And from an ops playbook perspective, here are the pragmatic controls you can apply today. Use synthetic data patterns for demo records, mask the last 4 digits or anonymize names, replace attachments with placeholders, enable ephemeral access tokens that expire in minutes, and build a one-click kill switch to stop any demo VM or session immediately. Also, keep audit traces minimal but meaningful, timestamps, who initiated the demo, and a redaction note so you can explain what happened if asked.
Love that. Let's make this concrete with the panel triage. Pick the 3 highest impact demo flows an org should lock down this week and assign owners. Jessica, you pick one legal heavy flow. Eddie, pick one ops heavy. I'll pick one revenue critical.
I'll take customer walkthroughs that include uploaded client attachments. Those files often include third-party data and contract terms. Owner, legal plus account manager. Outreach script. Send a note to the account lead saying, "We need a quick confirmation on permitted uses of attachments before next week's demo. Tag any attachments that contain third-party data and pause sharing until cleared." That script explicitly preserves evidence and signals caution without delaying the sale.
I'll take shared staging databases used for feature validation. Owner, DevOps/platform lead. Outreach script. We're switching the staging DB to a masked dataset for demos this week, and we'll invite you to a test replay. If you need full fidelity for a deep debug, open a ticket for a controlled, reversible snapshot. That gives teams a path for technical deep dives while keeping day-to-day demos safe.
And I'll take the sales screen share demo flow, where reps pull up live dashboards. Owner, head of sales plus sales ops. Outreach script. Starting Monday, please use the demo account for client-facing screen shares. If a customer needs to see live metrics, schedule a guided session with sales ops so we can control data scope. It's short, prescriptive, and preserves conversion potential.
Before we walk into the 30-day sprint, quick legal caveat for listeners. The content we give, checklists, scripts, templates, is meant to reduce everyday risk. This is not a substitute for tailored legal advice. If you discover a significant exposure or potential regulatory notice, escalate immediately to your counsel and follow preservation protocols.
Perfect. Now, the 30-day containment sprint. Week 1, inventory. Run the triage we just laid out. List demo flows, owners, and sensitivity scores. Week 2, replace top demo datasets with synthetic or masked variants for the 2 highest priority flows and deploy ephemeral access. Week 3, run 1 live rollback test. Simulate a demo mishap, hit the kill switch, and verify your logs and preservation notes. Week 4, collect evidence for stakeholders and roll out the conservative sales scripts to the field.
Small operational tips inside that sprint. Use deterministic synthetic data so demos remain believable. Preserve data schemas even when you mask values, and instrument your demo platform to automatically strip attachments. If you can, make the masking reversible in a controlled environment so engineers can still debug without exposing prod data to sales.
And add this legal step in week 1 or 2. Identify any contract clauses that restrict data use for testing or demos, and prepare a conservative demo safe clause you can insert in new agreements. Also prepare an escalation script for managers, who to notify, how to preserve evidence, and when to involve counsel. Those pre-written steps save hours when something happens.
All right, rapid scenarios and exact next moves. Scenario 1, a shared staging DB with customer PII. Next move, immediately freeze new refreshes. Flag the staging DB in your inventory and replace with a masked dataset. Don't delete anything before talking to legal. Preservation matters.
Scenario 2, a sales screen share reveals stored attachments. Next move, ask the rep to pause the call, end the session politely, and follow the outreach script. We need to confirm permitted content before continuing. We'll follow up within X hours. Then, log the incident and notify legal if attachments include third-party content.
Scenario 3, a contractor VM handed out with embedded API keys. Next move, revoke those keys immediately, rotate secrets, and run a quick access audit. Also, move contractor demos to a hardened VM template that strips secrets automatically.
We're nearly out of time. Quick recap. Demos that use real data create slow, compounding risks. PII exposure, contractual triggers, and evidence trails that escalate disputes. Do an inventory, protect the high-impact flows first, and follow a phased 30-day sprint to fix things without killing deal velocity. And, important, use conversion-preserving patterns, partial obfuscation, realistic synthetic data, and honest sales scripts that set expectations.
One last legal reminder. Keep your escalation criteria conservative. If you see third-party data, potential regulatory exposure, or uncertain contractual terms, pause and consult counsel. The checklists we provide are to reduce everyday risk, not to replace a decision to preserve evidence or notify regulators.
And from ops, if you want one practical win this week, build a demo account template and a single-click kill switch. It costs almost nothing and saves hours when a demo goes sideways.
If you want the full demo data safety kit, one page with a discovery checklist, demo safe scripts, and sandbox hygiene steps, plus the 30-day containment sprint we just walked through, head to hiddenbusinessrisk.com. That's the only place we're sending these materials. Use them to run the sprint and bring your managers and legal team into the first call. And remember, this is about lowering friction, not killing demos. Tighten the parts that matter and keep the rest moving.
Thanks, everyone. If you run into a tricky situation and you're unsure whether it's material, use the checklist and the escalation script. It saves time and protects relationships.
Thanks. Good luck. And if your demo team grumbles, tell them we tried less realistic demos once, and the engineers still got invited back for a control deep dive. People adopt when the handrails are clear.
That's a wrap for this episode of Hidden Business Risk. Go to hiddenbusinessrisk.com for the data safety kit and the 30-day sprint. We'll see you next time. Stay curious and protect the parts you care about most.